Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your host, TJ Cornwell.
And tonight we have kind of a grab bag, kind of a couple different things we're going to be talking about. Obviously, just like every week these past more than a few weeks, we will be ending the show talking about the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again. But before we get to that, CinemaCon is going on right now, and more specifically, right now as we are live, the Universal panel is just starting, which means we might have news coming out, we might have breaking news coming out, we might even have a trailer coming out. That would be kind of best case scenario, but we will see. We're keeping an eye on the CinemaCon situation, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about that has already happened at CinemaCon. A big Lionsgate panel and a big Sony panel as well has already happened. We also had the Warner Brothers panel, but not really a ton of news coming out of the Warner Brothers panel. Just kind of some additions and brush ups on projects that we already knew about, and projects that just hadn't gotten updated in a while. But before we get into any of that, we are going to start off this show going with our new, our kind of semi-new tradition here of starting off with our movie grid. We're going to pull that up in just 1 second, but I just wanted to remind everyone that as it says above my head in the description and in the chat right now, you can go ahead and click the link right there to call into the show. A couple things about calling in: make sure that your camera is off, your microphone is on, and please, if you call in and we don't pull your call in right away, we will get to you. We see you down there. I'll even try to shout it out and just say, hey, just you might be in the waiting room for a little bit while we're finishing up a topic. But if you call in, we will see you and we will pull you. So it's just sometimes we can't kind of break our conversation right in the middle of a sentence to take somebody right when they call. But please, if you have questions or anything you want to talk about with the John Wick stuff, with Daredevil, with any of the Sony Marvel stuff that's going on, or any of the other movie stories that we're going to be talking about tonight, please take advantage of using that link. Like I said, again, it's both in the description and in the chat right now. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up the movie grid. All right. So let me know if you can read that. Hopefully you can.
Yeah.
All right. So for those who don't know, this is like kind of movie Sudoku, and TJ had a great idea, I think about almost over a month ago at this point, to start doing the show with some of these fun movie games. There's so many online. So we're going to take a look at this one, and you'll kind of get it as we go along. But we got Bradley Cooper, Cameron Diaz, and then director or actor Jonah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the categories are Oscar-nominated film, one-word title, not including the, and then 3 or more word title.
Okay.
For Cooper, I'm immediately drawn to Aloha for one-word title.
Okay, I'll take you with that because I don't even know what that movie is.
That's the one.
Oh, what about
Emma Stone played
you think Aloha or Burnt would be? Is Burnt him? No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, he's the star of Burnt, but he's not the star of Aloha.
What's the Stephen Graham one that came out wasn't like a few years ago? I thought it was like all along the same title. So that's why I was still confused. What's that? I think he's in like a chef movie as well. That is
Burnt.
like, oh, he is in that.
Yeah, he's the lead of Burnt.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking of Boiling Point.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
That's okay. I've never seen it. I just saw like an ad or something for it. So I'm good with Aloha. Yeah. 3.8%.
Okay. Let's go.
That's good. Oh, okay. This movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do Oscar nominated. Okay.
For Bradley?
So, yeah. So obviously not Maestro. You could go Guardians. Wasn't one of the Guardians nominated? I feel like I could be wrong.
That's a good question. Maybe you could just go like Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, you could go there. That might be too high though. I feel like it's got to go like.
But for Rocket though?
Yeah, I guess it'd be like some random like Like he's in the movie, but he's not in the.
Been in so many. Like, what about Joy?
Joy, yeah, that's an option.
Like he's such a small part in that, and I feel like you don't. Yeah. You think about other people in that movie before you get to him.
Right. Trying to think of something
in so many
earlier. What's some movie he made like a cameo? There's got to be something he made like a cameo in. A Star is Born, that's a decent guess. I think that would be really high as far as percentage wise.
Mm-hmm. Question. Even for VFX, was the Dungeons and Dragons movie nominated for an Oscar?
Ooh.
Because that would be crazy.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was. He made.
I didn't know that.
He makes like an extended cameo.
I don't know if you want to take that chance. I actually don't know.
Yeah. Would that be cheating to look up if it was nominated?
I don't know if that counts, if it's cheating or not.
Yeah.
I guess technically it is because you're supposed to know.
You're supposed to just know off your information. Right. Yeah.
I
will say for 3 or more words, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
Okay, that's a good one. Yep. There we go. 4.7.
Cool.
All right. I guess we could go. What do you think is the better percentage? Like you said, Joy or do you think like was it American Hustle? Was that nominated?
Yes, it was definitely nominated. I will be right back. 1 sec.
Okay. We got American Hustle. We got Joy. We got Endgame. Trying to think something. Oh, what about Nightmare Alley? That was nominated. That could be one. I feel like that might be pretty low. I know he's like the star, but I feel like that might be lower percentage wise. What other movies?
I sadly had to close my window because it's just absolutely torrential thunderstorms and lightning out here right now. I feel like if we're just going purely on a movie that's been nominated for Oscars, I feel like he's such a small part in Joy.
Okay.
Whereas like he's one of the main guys in Hustle. He's one of the main guys in Silver Linings. Like,
I said Nightmare Alley, but he's the star though.
Yeah, he is the star.
So yeah, I think let's go with Joy because he's a small part. So
I'd be interested to know if Nightmare Alley shows up on the results though.
Ooh.
Whoa, that's cool.
Wow.
Okay, cool. All right, I feel like B Coops
that's a good start.
The easy one. Yeah, yeah, all single digits, all below 5.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz is going to be the hard one.
Yeah. Oscar nominated films that like Shrek, right? Yeah.
Yep, Shrek. Okay.
Oh, Oscar nominated though.
Oh,
what are the chances that the sequels got nominated?
I think you would probably have to go with the safest guess. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. One word title.
One word title. Oh, we could have used Shrek.
The Mask.
Oh, perfect.
That's going to be again another one that's like way up there.
40%. Yeah, exactly. Okay. 44.
3
or more word title. There's Something About Mary. I feel like hers are so obvious. Like I don't really know. Oh, was she My Best Friend's Wedding? That was her, right?
I'd have to see the poster.
I think that was her.
If you're not confident, I would go with your first guess.
I think I'm confident.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow, there you go. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Director, actor, Jonah Hill.
Director,
actor, Jonah Hill. Moneyball is one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it's such a trip up because it's not that their performance has to be nominated. It's just they have to be in any movie that was nominated. Which is like so many.
Moneyball, Wolf of Wall Street.
Was Superbad nominated? It was for writing, right?
Okay. Maybe.
For screenplay?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
I want to say that was Rogen and Goldberg got nominated for screenplay. I don't know though. That might be too treacherous.
Yeah.
What about War Dogs?
I don't think that was nominated.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I don't think it was nominated for anything. What about
Don't Look Up?
No. More because I don't like that movie. I think that might be up. I feel like that might be up there though in terms of well, maybe probably lower than Moneyball and Wolf of Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was mid-90s nominated. I don't think so, right? Not for anything.
I see. That's the problem. Is I don't know about these smaller, like, categories. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is like mid-90s could have been nominated for production.
Go with
design.
What was?
I was saying mid-90s could have been like production design or some random thing like that. That's like hard to kind of predict. I said Don't Look Up. Was it nominated for Best Picture?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay. I think that'll be less obvious of an answer than Moneyball and
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Boom, there we go.
Okay, right, cool. See, I'm shocked by that, actually.
I feel like we're doing really well.
Yeah. Okay,
all right, Jonah Hill, one word title or more than 3? Wolf of Wall Street is so obvious.
Yeah.
Superbad, I think, even is obvious.
Yeah.
Damn. Every Jonah Hill movie is escaping my brain.
I know, same. Was he like?
What about This Is the End?
I guess that doesn't count. Yeah.
What about This Is the End for 3 or more?
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty high, but still.
Yep. All right, last one. What's some like?
Oh yeah, Molly.
Did he do like some like
Get Him to the Greek? That would have been a good one.
Did he do some like?
Or even Saving Sarah Marshall or Forgetting Sarah Marshall would have been a good one.
One word title.
Ooh, you know what? Oh my God, I'm thinking of so many. You know what would have been the best for this? The lowest? 40-Year-Old Virgin, because he has that tiny cameo in it. Oh man, that would have been great.
One word title. I'm struggling.
Yeah, one word title is hard for Jonah Hill, other than just Superbad. Oh no, he wasn't in that. Damn.
We might have to go with
Superbad.
Superbad.
Let's see if. All right, I'm gonna open it to chat. Chat, do you have anything better than Superbad for one word Jonah Hill movie? I'll give you a couple seconds, but other than that, I feel like that's got to be Superbad. Man, I'm like kicking myself over 40-Year-Old Virgin.
That's all right. The Bradley Cooper one, that one was really strong, and then Cameron Diaz was a little,
Yeah.
The last one we got good, but
all right, I'm going with Superbad.
All right.
What the hell? The 41-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it. I kind of remember that. Yeah, 54.
54, yeah.
All right, the question is, what are some of these?
Oh, damn.
Oh, man,
I didn't watch that, but that's a good.
Oh my God, dude, is mid-90s technically one word because it's mid-90s?
Maybe.
That's like I can picture the logo.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe that. I feel like that would be
all right. Top 20% of players.
I'm reining it in.
Maestro, no surprise there. Maestro, Gangs in New York. I didn't even know she was in that.
Oh, right. Of course. Okay, I feel like we did good on Diaz then. I feel like we did.
I would agree with
surprisingly.
That. Yep.
Wolf. Yeah, I feel like we did good.
Okay.
All right, rarest. You can do the same movie for more than one category? I did not know that.
I think that means that people guessed it for that one.
Oh, I see. It's because it's like it's like the compilation.
Right. Oh, If.
Of course.
I didn't even know he was in that movie.
Neither did I.
Okay.
The Box. My Best Friend's Wedding. The Last Supper. Oh my God, that's too triggering right now.
Click.
Who the hell is Jonah Hill in Click?
What? How to Train Your Dragon.
The Hidden World.
All right. Well,
all right. I think we did pretty good. Yeah, I think we did pretty good on that. Other than there was some, like maybe just the Avengers ones would have been like tighter, but I mean, you can't get much better than this. I mean, that's that's crazy. All right, boom. So there are answers for this week's movie grid. Awesome. I love doing those things. All right. Yeah, Stutz would have been a great one. Wasn't even thinking about like the documentaries that he's done. All right, TJ, we gotta unfortunately here we're gonna have to switch gears pretty hard here. And that is to talk about the very, very unfortunate news that broke last night, which is that at the age of 65, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Prolific doesn't even seem to cover it. A guy who spanned basically every genre of film possible and most decades of film possible since the 80s. And that is Val Kilmer, unfortunately passed away at the age of 65. This past week with the news coming just last night, like pretty much right at midnight. Obviously, it's pretty public knowledge that he struggled with throat cancer for almost 10 years, where he lost the ability to speak like fluently. He had gained some speech back over the years and with surgeries and stuff like that. Obviously, most recently appearing in Top Gun Maverick as in the role of Iceman. But yeah, unfortunately, after a short battle with pneumonia, passed away. Yeah, passed away at the age of 65. Obviously, when you have a terrible cancer like that, particularly around your ear, nose, and throat, if you get something like pneumonia or the flu or even just a cold, it can be, absolutely terrible for you. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts? Obviously, Batman. I didn't even mention Batman. There's so many. You could just this whole show could have just been a Val Kilmer like remembrance episode, and we would have filled an hour. Mm-hmm. But what were your thoughts on this? This news that came across either last night or this morning, and what are some of the roles that kind of resonated with you over your life?
Yeah, just like you said, really sad news. Obviously, like you said, he was in Top Gun Maverick, really special kind of part of that movie. Mm-hmm. What made one of the parts that made that movie so great. Obviously, like you said, Batman. I think obviously, like what I know him most for was Heat. He was so great in that movie. And then, you ever seen Tombstone? I saw it like a long
I have not actually. That's one of those that has slipped through, and I'm just waiting for some like magic night where it just like
I gotta rewatch that. He's really good in that. And then I actually never watched The Doors. I know that was a really popular.
That's also another one that I have not seen.
Yeah. But yeah, really, really sad. Almost feels like it. I know, like you said, like he had obviously that long battle with cancer, but it almost just feels like too soon. Did you end up watching the
Val?
The documentary?
I watched. I watched that back when it came out. I mean, just done by a couple of producers that were close to him, but mainly his son. Like kind of compiling everything and then doing. Because he had basically, I think they said he had basically like 10 to 15% speech, like basically at the end of his life, and that's why you see in Top Gun Maverick, he's able to do like one or two lines, which they said even that was like a tremendous feat for him to be able to do that scene with Tom Cruise. But yeah, I love that documentary so much. With obviously, the point I was making with his son. It's footage of Val Kilmer throughout his life with diary and notebook entries read out by his son, who sounds very much like him. It's such a kind of a mind trip watching that documentary, because at times you just kind of forget that it's not him talking. But yeah, that documentary was just incredible. And I, honestly, when I was reminded of when that documentary came out, which was I think 2021. I mean, it's kind of horrible in a way to say, but it's like you said, he was so young, but he was just so, it just feels like he was so sick for so long that it was almost like a Gene Hackman where it's like he was just so out of public view that for these little things when he would pop up, when he showed up in one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies that they just did, where he showed back up as his like Blunt Man character, the like Batman knockoff, which I know that was, you know, cool that he showed up there. Obviously showing up in Top Gun Maverick for I would say an even bigger, more emotional impact. And then obviously that's a movie that had millions of eyes on it. It made billions of dollars. Like that was not a small cameo. That was like a role that people remember Val Kilmer in Top Gun Maverick, and they will for forever. But it's just one of those things that it's like you're straddling that line of like he's finally at peace after like so much sickness that he's had. But like you said, I mean, 65 is tremendously young. I mean, that's literally 30 years younger than Gene Hackman. And we were talking about Gene Hackman like it was too soon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, what would those 30 years have really looked like for him? Because it was just, you know, complication after complication. And it's just terrible no matter which way you kind of look at it. But yeah, just for me, I mean, I most recently watched Batman Forever just about, I think about 6 months ago at one of the laser projector auditoriums here. And he is just so like captivating in that role. Like as Batman, he just is like picture perfect for just doing a totally different thing than Keaton was doing, but just in his own. And the movie itself, say what you will, but I'm just going to focus on, you know, his Bruce Wayne and everything. He's just so good in that movie, and his chemistry with Nicole Kidman is so good in that movie. Obviously him and Willow, fantastic. Obviously the first Top Gun, Iceman is like an incredible character. It's just very, very sad, but our thoughts go out to Val Kilmer, you know, and his entire family right now for everything going on. But yeah, Val Kilmer, age 65, unfortunately passing away. Anything else you want to talk about on Val Kilmer?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly.
Right. All right, we are going to move over, if we can kind of hard shift gears here for a second. We are actually going to move over to a quick... Oh, hello. That was a little loud. TJ, I want to move over to a very quick trailer reaction here for this that just came out a few hours ago. Obviously, we have Star Wars Celebration coming up very soon. Ever since the Bad Batch ended, we've been getting these hints and teases by actresses and different talent over at Lucasfilm that Asajj Ventress's story was not done. And people were wondering, what does that mean? Are we getting Tales of the Bounty Hunters? Are we getting Tales of the, you know, Sith again? Are we getting Tales of whatever? Well, they answered that question, and I saw people being like, why didn't they just wait until Celebration? Because this comes out in like 4 weeks. Right. So they wanted to get this out, but I have not looked at this or seen anything of this. I only know the 2 characters that it is about, and both of those characters I am very, very happy that they are choosing to dedicate some time to. So let's go ahead and take a look at the very first look. I'm assuming the only look that we're going to get at Tales of the Underworld.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious.
You know who the 2 characters are?
Strangers out here.
Yeah, I just read it on IMDb.
Okay.
You're no stranger.
Oh, we got stormtroopers.
Lady Ventress.
Whoa. What are that guy?
We got a problem here. Just saw him right in.
Got a problem here. I like the green fonts.
Yeah.
It's him.
What's the situation?
Whoa, he's naked.
Oh. Remember when he was in Mandalorian?
Where's your best friend?
Things have changed.
Yeah.
You took everything from me.
Ooh, origin story.
Are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin.
This is cool.
I don't want that life anymore.
Whoa, is that Jod Nanawood?
Ooh. I like the yellow.
Yeah. We got an Inquisitor.
Bane, no one needs to die.
Oh.
I like her square hilt.
Get them.
It's funny. I don't think of her as a bounty hunter anyway.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
Maybe 2 mercenaries would have been a better thing.
Revenge. I hope it was worth it. It will be.
All right. First of all, I gotta say I love the green. I love the like kind of eerie like sea green font. That's like really really cool. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it looked pretty cool. I really like those kind of short and sweet
like,
stories that they've been doing lately. Really easy to just kind of, I feel like, run through, in a couple of hours. I would say most of the time they're only like
those ones are like,
aren't they?
It's like 10 minutes each,
right? Like 10 minutes. Yeah. So
yeah, it's usually the whole show is like at 1 hour.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, pretty easy to run through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually, those are 2 characters I'm very much interested to learn more about. As far as Ventress, when was the last time we saw her? Was
Bad Batch.
Yep.
Yeah. And then before that was like 10 years.
Right. And any other books that are canon or not.
And Dark Disciple, which Dark Disciple itself came out 10 years ago. So it's been a long way.
So I'm really excited, I guess, to learn more about her, just because like you said, like there hasn't really been much since Clone Wars. And as far as Cad Bane goes, like it was Mandalorian, right? Or was it Boba Fett?
It was Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's what I meant before. He was in Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, excited to learn more about him as well. I know he was in Bad Batch for a little. He had that little arc, I think, in whatever season it was.
Yeah. He was,
but excited to,
children.
Yeah, excited to learn more about that character as well.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the teaser itself didn't really do a lot for me. I think I'm very hyped and I like the visuals and everything, but to me, I just think like, I don't know, maybe I would have wanted like one other big Star Wars character to have shown up just in the teaser, just talking about the teaser itself. I just think that like, I'm interested that Cad Bane, this seems maybe post Clone Wars. He's taking off. He doesn't have his breathing apparatus. So he's either, did he take that off, or is this pre-Clone Wars before he even has that? I'm very excited to see that, but I like the fact that Cad Bane has this like personal beef with somebody like on his home planet. And I like the fact that we're going to see Ventress guiding this young learner. Now, I mean, I kind of made the half joke, but I mean, do we think this could be Jod from Skeleton Crew? I mean, we know that he was taken in by a female Jedi, that she showed him the ropes, but that she was killed. I don't think they're going to just do all this to just kill Ventress, so I don't know if it really was Jod, but it certainly lines up if they want to do it that way. Very interesting either way. But yeah, I would say the teaser itself, I wanted maybe a little bit more, but I know that these shorts, when I think back to like the best of the Tales of shows, it's like the dialogue with like Dooku and stuff, or the dialogue with Thrawn and Morgan Elsbeth. Like,
isn't this becoming like a annual thing?
It's been the past 3 May 4th.
I was gonna say May 4th. Isn't it May 4th? Like every time they have one of these things? Okay.
Yeah, it was I think 4 years ago was Visions Volume 1. Then 3 years ago was Tales of the Jedi. 2 years ago was it was Visions 1, then Tales of the Jedi, then Visions 2, then Tales of the Empire, now Tales of whatever the hell it's called, Tales of the Underworld, which I think is cool. So it seems like they're kind of alternating between the Tales of and Visions, and we know that we already are also getting Visions this year as well, Visions Volume 3. So Star Wars animation completely still alive and kicking. Not only that, but there's no Lucasfilm showcase panel at Celebration this year, but there is a Lucasfilm animation showcase panel, which a lot of people think means we are going to get a new full-fledged like Bad Batch type show, not just one of these mini series, but like an actual whatever the next ongoing animated show is with like a new set of characters.
Yeah.
So pretty excited for that, but yeah, excited for this and to see if we get any new information at Celebration or anything like that. All right, let's move over to something that you wanted to talk about, which is let's talk a little bit about the Switch. Switch 2 got announced today. $450 for the base console. We also got Mario Kart World has been announced, which is like the first open world Mario Kart game, which I watched the little teaser for it. I didn't watch the direct, and I didn't watch a full trailer or anything.
Yeah.
But I watched about 45 seconds of it. Looks pretty cool. I mean, I have a Switch. I love Mario Kart and everything like that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? $450, $80 games. Is it all coming to an end?
It seems so. It seems like Nintendo just decided to start the new wave of game pricing, because in the latest generation, or in the last like year or so, they've gone up to about 70 with the newest generations as far as like Xbox and PS5.
Yeah, $69.99 is what,
and it's probably not with, I should say, with the last generation of consoles, not within the last year. But to see that these prices, just like it's 80 for digital and then it's 90 for physical, and it's
really?
like we're just $10 away from games just costing $100, which is insane. And I know it's not cheap, but I want to say like, oh, I remember when games were $60, and it wasn't that long ago. And yeah, the $450 price point was definitely a lot. I forgot. I looked up earlier what the Switch 1 launched at like price wise.
I think it was $259.
It was $299, so $300.
Okay, so that's a little higher than I thought. So
that was 2017, I think it was.
Yeah, and then what did the OLED launch at?
Let's see.
Maybe 350.
OLED. 350. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been increasing.
It's a jump. It's a big jump. Yeah.
Personally, I was not as cool as I thought. Some of the updates were in the newest console. I was not kind of sold, I would say. I just, with the games that they announced that they're launching with, and I just wasn't like, oh, I need to get this. I haven't played my Switch in a while, in all honesty. I think the last thing I was really playing was probably like Mario Kart, which I am a Mario Kart guy, but not enough to drop $450 on a console with just playing Mario Kart. You know what I mean? They're finally adding GameCube games. Finally.
Yeah, like that's exciting to me. Like, but to me, it's like I'm like, didn't Mario Kart 8 just come out? And I know, I know it's been like 8 years, but I'm like, whenever I load up my Switch, that's what I usually play, that, or I play Smash, or I play Odyssey. And it's like, I would much rather, I would be much more hyped. I'm not like chomping at the bit to get the Switch 2 no matter what games that comes out with, but I would be considering it much heavier if they were like, oh, it's a totally brand new flagship Mario adventure game, like the old school ones, like when we grew up, or like even like an Odyssey. Then to me, just like I'm not going to harsh on it and say slightly better, a much newer and much better Mario Kart game, but it's still Mario Kart. I mean, it's still basically the same game. You're just kind of trimming it up, making it new, and adding more bells and whistles to it and everything.
Like if they had said that they were launching with like, obviously they have the GameCube, but like if they're like, oh, you're getting all the Wii games, we're bringing them over to Switch Online.
Yeah.
And maybe they announced like a new, and they did announce a new Zelda game, but it's not the type of Zelda game that I play. So I'm a little less inclined. And even like Metroid 4, which I am excited about. Granted, I still have to play through Metroid Prime 2 and 3, which I can only play them on GameCube or Wii, which I have a Wii, but I would have to buy the disc. But this is the point where I'd be like, well, if you would just add them to Switch Online and just make it easier for me to play them. Yeah. And then I'd be like, oh, maybe now I want to get a Switch too, It's just, and I know it's like Nintendo does this stuff because like they don't have to, because they know you're going to buy it anyway. So it's like, why would we go out of our way to do something? Yeah. But my only thought was like, and this doesn't make me any more want to pre-order it, but I was like, if I don't buy it, am I going to just, I wonder what the scarcity will be. Because with the first one, it was like, you couldn't find it for months after it launched. Like I only got it. I didn't pre-order, and I just got it because I was like tracking it on one of those websites. And I saw that a GameStop, I think it was by your house, had it. So I walked in and they were like, oh yeah, you got the last one. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember when or how I got my Switch.
Yeah.
I really don't. But yeah, I mean, interesting, and I know there's going to be a Mario Kart specific direct, I think next week. That's going to give even more information. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. All right, let's get through some of these next stories so we can talk about a couple of Marvel heroes that wear red. All right, we got these guys right. I don't know why they just popped up in the middle of our screen there. We got these guys right here, the Beatles biopics from Sam Mendes. Obviously, we talked about this quite a while ago, as reported by Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic and the In Snyder newsletter. These are all the 4 names that Jeff Snyder reported months ago. They officially, Sam Mendes came out at the Sony panel and officially announced and gave us a good amount of information about all of this. We have Sony CEO Tom Rothman describing this as the world's first bingeable theatrical experience. So the rumors were going around that this was going to be 4 separate films. 1 movie for John Lennon, 1 movie for Paul McCartney, 1 movie for Ringo Starr, 1 movie for George Harrison. And that is exactly what it is going to be. So we have playing John Lennon, we have Harris Dickinson, Paul Mescal is going to be playing Paul McCartney, Barry Keoghan is going to be playing Ringo Starr, and Joseph Quinn is going to be playing George Harrison. All 4 movies written and directed by Sam Mendes. All 4 movies releasing April 2028. What are your thoughts on this casting? What are your thoughts on this bingeable theatrical thing? Are they all coming out on the same day, do you think? Do you think they're all coming out, over the span of 4 weeks? What is your feeling on all of this stuff? Yeah, and please, those watching right now, let us know what your thoughts are on the casting and this whole concept.
That was an interesting announcement when I saw it. I think, a great casting, 4 great actors. I would say maybe Harris Dickinson, probably the most up and coming, I would say. Yeah. I guess Paul Mescal's already there. Joseph Quinn's going to be in Fantastic Four. And then Barry Keoghan is kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's like, I'm not going to see a movie because Barry Keoghan's in it, but every performance he turns in is great, I would say. That'll be interesting to see how the rollout is. Cause it's like, you're not going to, unless I'm trying to think of like how you would, do you do one and then go right to the next one and then just keep doing that. And then as they're done, you just sit on them until they're all done, I guess. And until you can release them all at the same time.
Yeah. Or within like a week. Or it's like an Infinity War and Endgame shoot where you shoot everything and then you spend 2 years chopping it all up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
I guess that
the rollout's going to be so interesting.
Like you said, it would probably be like maybe you're just shooting them all at the same time, I guess, and like you said, chopping it all up with your 2-year timeline that you have, and then releasing them. I'm maybe like week after week.
Yeah, I think week after week for a full month is the only thing that makes sense to me, because you can't. I mean, you'd be, in my opinion, stupid, but you can't release them all on the same day.
No, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, you can't do that. So it's, I'm like, they wouldn't do that, right? Like, I want to get Tom Rothman on the phone and be like, you're not doing that, right? For 2 reasons: for me as a moviegoer, and for my profession, and for my mental health. Please tell me you're not releasing them all on the same day. I want to take it to the Beatles movie. Okay, which one?
Yeah,
the Beatles one. Okay,
maybe the titles will just be their first names.
Yeah, we said that. You and me said that on this show, like 4 months ago. We were going back and forth with what should these be called, and I was like, I think we were like just their names, and then we were like just their first names, because that's enough. You know what I mean? To go George, John, Paul, Ringo, like that's enough to just call the movies that.
Right.
Don't give me from the book of Beatles, or
Yeah. Now, also, my question is, I'm not the biggest like Beatles person.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know like very much history or anything about the 4 of them. But assuming that, not assuming, actually, 2 of them are still alive. So is there going to be like, is this going to be true? Yeah, like true to truth. For lack of a better term.
Is this going to be like an Amadeus situation, or is this going to be like a Bohemian Rhapsody situation?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Mozart wasn't around to give notes on the script.
Right.
Just saying.
Did you watch like, I started it, but I didn't even get anywhere close to finishing it. Did you watch that documentary on like Disney Plus or no?
Get Back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
How was that? That was good.
It was really good. Yeah, I liked that one, and the what was the other one called? Let It Be. Get Back was the Peter Jackson one, and then Let It Be was the studio sessions. I think I watched both of those.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are both fantastic. And then I also watched the Apple TV Plus. They did one on John's death and kind of his overall life. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really said it yet in us covering the story, but I mean, I am like a humongous Beatles fan, like more than just the music, like living and breathing their lives, their wives, like their relationships. Like, I mean, when I was a kid and then into even now, I'm just, any content that comes out about it, I'm just like devour. I know this is an unpopular opinion. One of my favorite movies of the decade, honestly, of the decade so far, is Yesterday with Hamish Patel. One where it's like the world forgets about the Beatles, and so he does all their songs. I just love that movie just for Hamish Patel and for the Beatles of it all. And then did you see that movie?
I did.
Okay, yeah. More specifically, really I loved the Robert Carlyle scene where he plays John Lennon. I was like moved almost to tears in that scene. But obviously now I like, when I hear people talk about it, people did not like that. They took that as like it was disingenuous or almost like against John's like legacy for the movie to assume what he would think about it. And I'm like, you might be reading into it too much. It's a movie. I'm very excited.
It just didn't work for me just because, like I said, I'm just not the biggest like Beatles fan. So,
and I think a lot of people, and you didn't say that you're not a Beatles fan. You said not the biggest. I think people who aren't the biggest, or people who maybe have not experienced it or just know it from a couple of songs. I mean, I think that's your audience that you have to capture for this. You know what I mean? You can't just do the diehard Beatles fans, because a lot of them are old. You know what I mean? Like, not to be that guy, but you have to capture the diehard Beatles fans, and you have to capture the non-diehard Beatles fans, I would assume, to make this all like financially, viable, question mark. I just can't even imagine the budget on this. I mean, just a big studio scale Sam Mendes movie can have a $200 million budget. You're now talking about 4 movies. I could see this costing $500 million total. It's going to be a lot. The other question I have is, what happens when the movies come out and the John and Paul ones make $1 billion, but the Ringo and George ones, struggle to make money? It's like, how's that going to look? But I'll be interested to see what happens, and I'm excited about the news, for sure. Let's see. Michelle said, no way the studio would do it all at once or stretch it out too far between, because box office would be bumping up against each other. Well, they flat out said that they are going to be doing, they flat out said they are going to be releasing them all in the same month. So the only question remains is, how close together is that? I could see them taking a risk, going, hey, we could dominate an entire month here and get people coming back to the theater in a pattern that we haven't seen in a while. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I think you got to admire the risk to go for something like this. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Speaking of just have to see what happens, another movie that was touched on at the Sony panel is Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Here we got our first official look at the sequel with a couple of stills. I know they showed about a 30-second teaser at CinemaCon, but a couple of these official stills did make its way online. This one, you're looking at Miles versus, spoiler alert, Miles versus the Prowler. Miles versus Miles. If you remember the very end of Across the Spider-Verse. But this movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse, is officially now, for the 5th time, dated. And it is June 4th, 2027, which, TJ, I don't know if you know this, but I was a teenager when the first Spider-Verse movie came out. And this movie is coming out on my 28th birthday. So, holy God. This trilogy has taken, if this movie comes out on time, this trilogy has taken 10 years to make. What are your thoughts? I mean, I feel like we can't put it in the Batman 2 category of when are these movies coming out? Because it's officially dated. CinemaCon saw a sizzle reel. We've seen some stills. Phil Lord sounds confident. He's like, hey, we needed to take a reset, take a breather. And it looks like it's full steam ahead on this. So what are your thoughts on everything coming out about Spider-Verse?
I'm excited about it. I thought that image that you just showed looked really, really cool. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a long time coming when this movie finally does come out. I didn't even the last one. I didn't realize it came out in 2023. I thought it was at least 20. I thought it was maybe early 2024 or something like that. So like you said, it's gonna be a really long time for me. The last one didn't quite hit the heights of the first one. So hopefully with the third one they can rebound, and we'll see what happens too with Spider-Man. Is this I know obviously there's a lot of talk about, is this gonna loop in the MCU somehow, or mm-hmm. By the time this movie comes out, will Tom Holland still be Spider-Man? I don't know how many more movies, honestly, he's got left as mm-hmm. Spider-Man. So maybe they make a switch or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it gives me confidence to know that the movie is not scrapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, I mean that.
But honestly, that's about all it gives me. I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh my God, we're in such safe hands now. Everything's going to be fine. It's coming out. It's still coming out 3 years later than it's coming out 3 years later than we thought it was when we sat down to watch the second one. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that they kept that release date? People were coming out of the theater going, oh, it was a cliffhanger, but at least it's only 6 months. It's been 4 years, or it'll be 4 years. Which is just oh my God, absolutely insane. But let's just take you give us a real good transition point here. Let's dive right into it. I mean, the next thing that the kind of the headliner was, we had Destin Daniel Cretton coming out to discuss his Marvel Studios film, which is Spider-Man Brand New Day. There you go. Big, bold, new title right there for you. Spider-Man Brand New Day will be Tom Holland's 4th solo Spider-Man movie. Very, very limited information on any additional cast or anything like that. Although we do have the release date, which a lot of us were expecting, coming out right between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Spider-Man Brand New Day will come out July 31st, 2026. Last couple years, we've been seeing Marvel move from the beginning of July up to the end of July to take over that kind of Barbenheimer weekend. We saw it with Deadpool and Wolverine last year, Fantastic Four this year, and then Spider-Man next year. So this end of July date definitely seems like a date that Marvel Studios is really happy with. But yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day, where does your mind go when you hear this? What do you think it means for Tom Holland? And where do you think this movie is going to go?
Honestly, I don't know. In my head, I don't know what's the gap between Doomsday and Secret Wars, like a year?
Yeah.
I think this movie might be pushed.
You think this one will?
It just seems really soon, and they haven't even started like filming yet.
Yeah.
And I know it's April of this year, but like he's still, I don't know how much, I don't know Odyssey, like how much he's going to be in it. Obviously he's filming that right now. I just have, it seems very like a very quick turnaround.
Yeah. I will say too, I think a lot of why it's been such a long wait is that quite literally 2 of the busiest people in Hollywood are Zendaya and Tom Holland. I mean,
well, she might have a reduced role too, so we don't even know.
Even if she has a reduced role, I mean, Euphoria, Odyssey, Euphoria, Odyssey, Dune, Spider-Man, everything else that she has working on. She has that Ronette's biopic coming up that she's supposedly filming this year. Then you go to Tom's schedule and you look at, the Odyssey, then Spider-Man, somehow probably Doomsday, and then obviously, of course, he's going to be a huge part in Secret Wars. So, and the other thing to me, I think the schedule of like, why is it taking so long? I think it really is just genuinely scheduling stuff. It's like everything's waiting on Tom's availability right now.
I don't even think it's funny you say it. Just real quick, sorry. I think it's funny you say that. I really don't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah, since what?
Are you saying like since the last Spider-Man movie?
I guess I just mean like I feel like there was Tom Holland was like, "Oh, I'm taking a break from Spider-Man."
Right, yeah.
And then like about a year ago, he was like, "My break's over." And so I guess I mean that year.
Okay.
That's like people were like, "The break's over. We're going." You know what I mean? It's like and then that didn't happen. And so it's I think it really is just his schedule, but also to the broader point, I'm really not too worried about the schedule because look at Fantastic Four. We didn't even know who the Fantastic Four were this time a year ago, and everybody said the same thing.
Yeah, the movie is.
And everybody said the same thing. How they haven't even started filming in June. How is this movie going to make July of next year? And now we know it's 100% making July. They just got it done. I don't know. Now, granted, a lot of people are saying that the set on Fantastic Four was just like perfectly run. Like they just got lucky with no issues. Everything was coming up great. The dailies were coming together great. That's a perfect storm. It doesn't happen with every single movie. Yeah, it doesn't happen with every single movie. But that being said, I think at this point, Spider-Man is kind of a well-oiled machine. Honestly, and by that I mean obviously I know it's not the same director. I know it's not a lot of the same cast. Movie 4, movie 8 overall, Tom Holland's running that set. He knows what has to get done. He knows what he has to bring to the movie. He knows what he's looking for in co-stars. He knows what he's looking for in other, other people, and what he wants to bring to the set to get everything done and get everything being a good and positive vibe. Mm-hmm. Also, I think it helps that I don't think once the Odyssey is done, he's going to just film Spider-Man 4. I think once the Odyssey is done, or not even once the Odyssey is done, once his part of the Odyssey is done, I think he's just getting handed over to Marvel Studios and he's going wherever they need him. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like they could be filming with Sadie Sink for 2 weeks while he films his Doomsday stuff. Then he can come to the set and then they can really get started on principal photography. So I think there's a good amount of this movie that could be filmed without Tom Holland for the stuff that he's not in. Which is, people might hear that and go, oh, these movies, they're made by committee. They're like Frankenstein movies. That's how movies are always made. If you have to go work around somebody's schedule, you have to work around somebody's schedule. That's it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anything else, or you want to talk a little bit about what do you think the whole Sadie Sink element of this is? Because right now, this is, I don't even know if this is Sony confirmed, but right now, what is being reported as the cast, all we have is Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, and Jon Favreau. Those are the only 4 names listed on IMDb and on a bunch of different places. So whether that's official or not, that is who we're looking at. The only person on there that I feel like hadn't been rumored but makes sense is Happy. But which, like, I didn't know that before, but it makes sense that he would be in it.
Honestly, I don't know because I don't have a lot of background knowledge. Do you have any knowledge on like the comic run that this, like, the title is kind of pulling from?
Yeah, I do, but I really don't think it's like gonna have anything to do with it. But like, but in the same way that Marvel really never has,
right?
It's really never the exact comic. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's any like surprise.
I would say I'm thinking maybe we are. I don't know. It just strikes me as Tom Holland not having many MCU movies left in him.
See, people keep saying that, but I'm like, what the fuck else is he doing?
I don't know. He's doing Odyssey. He's got
Odyssey, the
what's the biopic he's doing?
Fred Astaire that got announced 4 years ago.
Can follow Zendaya wherever she's filming. She's filming a lot of stuff. I don't know. He's been in so many movies. He's obviously got the trilogy. I don't see him doing another trilogy. I don't know about you.
You really don't think so?
Like that's another 5-6 years.
I mean, to me, this guy's 20 years younger than Hemsworth.
How old is he?
Holland, he's 28.
28. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's like they got some of these Avengers in their 60s.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah.
I'm like, granted, do we bring Miles in? Do we transition to a two-hander, then to a mentor, stuff like that? Yeah. But I feel like the reports of Peter Parker's death have been greatly exaggerated.
Really exaggerated.
Yeah, I feel like
and that's not saying that's not me saying I don't want to see him in that role or anything. I just feel like he seems like a person who wants to do more than be known for playing Spider-Man, I guess. And I just feel like at some point, he's talked about the whole retirement thing, and then there was it was however many years ago when he was like, if I'm playing Spider-Man at whatever age, I think something went wrong. I think that's what along the lines of what he said. So I don't know. It's just a lot of things pointing in that direction.
I also feel like every single Marvel actor has said that
fair enough.
About their role. Like literally, what's his name? Anthony Mackie. He said the exact same thing. He was like, if I'm a 60-year-old Captain America, like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
And in Secret Wars, isn't that like his kind of big? That's like a big Spider-Man. He's a big part of that that run of comics, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And obviously going to be in a big part of that movie. So, I don't know. Maybe that's where he gets got. I don't know. But yeah, that's just my feeling.
I feel like again, all of this is just my opinion on it and my feeling on it, but I feel like you don't take the break. I feel like maybe you just don't even come back if you're not gonna go all the way. You know what I mean? I feel like why even go through all these crazy contract negotiations if you're only gonna come back for 1 or 2 solo movies? Like I feel like you're, I'm not coming back for 12%. I'm coming back for the whole thing. Like that's what I think in my head at least makes sense. Like I really don't think Tom Holland's going anywhere, but anything could happen. And like you said, Secret Wars, that's like where the black suit was introduced. So it really could be that like maybe he dies in Secret Wars and that's just the end of that Peter Parker and we just don't see him ever again. Or maybe Secret Wars starts a whole new black suit saga that we go, wow, I mean, I loved the first decade of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but once he got the black suit in the 5th movie, oh my God, it just was like what they did with that was so good. Like, I just feel like there's so much more room for stories. I mean, yes, I would love to get bring Miles in, give Miles his own movies, but I just think there's so much story left still that you can explore with Peter Parker, even without, because I've said it a million times to you and on this show, like that No Way Home kind of screwed the pooch on the whole, like, you can't really have a Doc Ock. You can't really have a Green Goblin because he's going to know who they are right away. But it's like so much more to Spider-Man than just those few characters. You know what I mean? Like you can go the Clone Saga. You could do something interesting with that and take one of the worst comic lines ever and do something interesting with a Clone Saga of somebody pretending to be Spider-Man. You can go crazy with Venom. You could bring in Big Wheel finally. After all this time, I just think there's a lot of different places that it can go.
Yeah, I'm. Last thing I'll say real quick is it is kind of crazy to me that literally next year Doomsday and Spider-Man are supposed to come out. Like I just feel like that kind of just like came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And what in that Downey now wasn't that like 7? I think I saw the video on YouTube. It was like 7 months ago. I was like, where did the time go? I feel like that was just like a few weeks ago that they announced that.
Yeah. Are you talking about like Can you check the private chat? Are you talking about like Downey? Like the Downey announcement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Comic-Con. That's what I keep having to go because I see 6, 7, 8 months ago, and I'm like, how is that possible? And then I have to remember that it was Comic-Con, so it had to be July. We're just that far from July. That's like, oh my God, I can't even. Again, that's another movie too that people were like, they announced it. I feel like, what's it called? I just had a really good thought. I feel like it's all about doubting Marvel right now, and I totally get that because they've given the openings in the walls for people to doubt them.
Yeah.
I feel like they announced it at Comic-Con, and people were just like, "Oh, that movie's probably just never actually going to happen." And yet here we are, and it's filming. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like these movies take times. Like people think like, "Oh, the Russo brothers just haven't been doing anything," but it's like they've been working for 7 months. Doing stuff on. And yes, they were finishing up Electric State. But look at James Gunn. He took over DC and he was still working on Guardians. So I just think that like people got to give a lot more credit to the machinations of all this stuff and how this stuff gets made. That's like, sure, the movie comes out. I guess I'm talking about Spider-Man 4 now. Sure, the movie comes out in July, but a lot of the pre-production's probably already done. They can film stuff without him. They can film stuff with his stunt doubles. And again, is that the best way to make a movie? No, but it's not something unique to Marvel movies, and it's not something unique to big budget movies. People have to get shot around in schedules all the time, and you're a fool if you don't think that includes the main character. There's so many productions of Dwayne Johnson movies and stuff like that where you hear all these stories of he just wasn't on set for Red Note or Red One. What? How many fucking movies is The Rock making? It's like Red One, Red Notice, Red One, the Christmas one that he either wasn't there or he was there and he was peeing in bottles. So it's like, a lot can happen. All right. Anything else on Spider-Man?
Nope.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we have to cut the show a little early tonight. We did not get a chance to get to Daredevil, but that is okay because next week we're going to talk even more CinemaCon. We're going to talk episodes, what would that be? Episodes 7 and 8 of Daredevil, and we're going to do a whole big what's going to happen in the finale. So we're going to have a nice 2-episode review of Daredevil next week for you guys. You know what? Real quick, I just want to see did anything pop off at the Universal panel? Let me refresh.
I was trying to keep tabs on it. It didn't look like there was
Five Nights at Freddy's. How to Train Your Dragon 2 live action is officially going. And then Adam Aaron is talking some bullshit. So
there was a little look at Nobody 2.
Right. But nothing wicked.
Not that I see, no.
Okay. First teaser shown for Black Phone 2. Pretty interesting. First teaser for Yorgos Lanthimos' new movie. First teaser for Wes Anderson. It seems like Universal's they got a lot of footage to show tonight, looks like. So that's pretty cool. And we will see. We will see what ends up happening with the Universal panel. We might have some nice Universal stuff to talk about next week as well, because I think that panel still has another hour and a half. So they're not going to be done anytime soon. But we are right now going to be done. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this. It would end up just being a quick hour and so show, but we appreciate it. I'm going to be checking out this week The Studio on Apple TV Plus, which I have not gotten a chance to dive into. I've been watching Severance, which has been great. White Lotus is going to be having a finale this week. So I have not watched a movie in a month and a half. That's a real fact. But I've been watching a ton of TV because TV has just been fantastic, and I'm catching up on so much stuff, doing my Andor rewatch, and then before you know it, Andor will be here. So that will do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. The last thing I'll tell you to do is like, comment, and subscribe.
I've been another host, TJ Cornwell. Please follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and we will see you next time.
Boom.